Want to expand the reach of your content? Start a podcast. Feature industry experts on your show and leverage the influence and reach of your guests to grow your brand. Learn more at sweetfishmedia.com.
You're listening to B2B Growth, a daily podcast for B2B leaders. We've interviewed names you've probably heard before, like Gary Vaynerchuk and Simon Sinek, but you've probably never heard from the majority of our guests. That's because the bulk of our interviews aren't with professional speakers and authors. Most of our guests are in the trenches leading sales and marketing teams. They're implementing strategy. They're experimenting with tactics. They're building the fastest growing B2B companies in the world. My name is James Carberry. I'm the founder of Sweetfish Media, a podcast agency for B2B brands, and I'm also one of the co-hosts of this show. When we're not interviewing sales and marketing leaders, you'll hear stories from behind the scenes of our own business. We'll share the ups and downs of our journey as we attempt to take over the world. Just kidding. Well, maybe. Let's get into the show.
This is Andy Crestodina from Orbit Media, and I'm your host for this episode of B2B Growth. You know the 80-20 rule? It's that idea that 80% of the results come from 20% of the effort. But in content marketing, it really seems to be more like a 90-10 rule, or maybe like a 95-5 rule, which is why doing a content marketing audit is absolutely critical. If there's a small percentage of your work, your content, your social posts, your emails, your keywords that are producing the vast majority of your results, then it's your job as a marketer to know exactly which of those efforts are driving those kinds of hugely disproportionate results. That's what a content marketing audit is all about. It's about finding those crazy outperformers so that you know what's working, you know what to repeat, you know where to spend your time and effort, you know what not to do, what to ignore, what to terminate, what programs to cancel, what content to forget about. So, in this episode, we're going to go through a short list of the types of outperformers that you're looking for and the ways and the places to find them. Here we go. The first type of outperformer is the traffic champion. This one is the easiest to find. It basically jumps right out at you as soon as you open analytics and look at the behavior, site content, all pages report. That report shows you the list of URLs on your website and the number of page views and unique page views for each. So you can tell right away, just at a glance with just a few clicks, which of the pages on your site they're going to get bringing the greatest number of visitors. Now, when trying to understand what to do better and how to iterate our content and how to keep improving and optimizing, we're going to want to look at this report with some more insights. So when you add a segment or a secondary dimension to this report, you can see what traffic sources are driving these visits to each of these top performing pages, to each of these high traffic pages. That's going to be really useful, and I'll give you a quick example. When you add a segment or secondary dimension to this report to see just the organic search traffic, now you can find which of these pages are driving tons of visits by ranking through search, through being discovered in Google. Now, you may already know that. A lot of people already know this because most website owners and content managers and content strategists have a good sense for what keywords are performing for them. So we don't need to go into tons of detail about how to find your traffic champions. But you should know what they are and have some sense for what your best cheese is. Not your mousetraps, but what's attracting visitors. It's my favorite quote from Barry Feldman. He says, if your website's the mousetrap, the content's the cheese. So you should know your traffic champions, especially those traffic champions that are attracting visitors from search, because search tends to be a more durable source of traffic. And keep those in mind. We're going to come back to those in a second. The next type of content and page that we want to find through our mini content audit is the content that has the best potential to become a traffic champion. These are the pages that almost rank high in search. Maybe they rank high on page 2. And there's another report in analytics that will help you find these very quickly. This report's in the acquisition section, and what we're going to do is look at the acquisition Search Console queries report, because this report shows all the phrases for which you rank. Looking at this report will give us a sense for what phrases we rank for very high, but also what phrases we rank for but don't rank that high yet. These are the potential traffic champions. These are the phrases for which maybe you rank high on page 2. So if you look over at that column for average position and scroll down, you're going to find some pages that rank 8, 9, 10, 11. If you rank 11 or 12, these are phrases for which you rank high on page 2 in Google. And as they say, where's the best place to hide a dead body? Page 2 of Google. So finding those phrases, searching for those phrases and confirming that ranking, finding the corresponding page, will show you what pages are potential traffic champions. Those are pages that if you improve them, add detail, add depth, or rewrite them, you may see a nice jump in your search rankings for that key phrase without that much effort. Maybe an hour or so of work, making a page a better page, can move it up a little bit in search results, and moving it up a little bit in search results can create a lot more visibility if its ranking was number 11 or 12, because moving up a little bit in that case puts you right above that tipping point, moving you from page 2 to page 1 in Google. It's a very reliable win in SEO. The third type of page we want to find in our mini content audit is what I think of as the falling star. They were a traffic champion, but now they're falling in ranking. New content has come out on that topic. The ranking has declined a bit, and it may be pushing it down past 10th position onto page 2 of Google. In this case, these are harder to find in Google Analytics because Google Analytics doesn't actually track your specific rankings over time. You may have a sense for these already, and you may have a couple of favorite key phrases where you're checking manually and watching over time. But to really keep an eye on your falling stars, you're going to have to use a tool that tracks specific rankings for specific queries, such as Moz or SEMrush. In any case, when you're aware of these and the rank starts to fall, you can go back and improve that page and try to save it, catch it before it falls off page 1 by building up the page, making it a better page, maybe rewriting or adding depth and detail before it falls too far. People who don't discover this information through an audit or by monitoring their rankings will only find out later after their traffic really started to decline. Then they have to dig to figure out what went wrong. Remember, a tiny percentage of your pages on your site attract a great majority of your traffic. So defending the rankings of some of those blockbuster pages will have a bigger impact on your total brand visibility and total traffic than creating new content. Defend your high rankings. The fourth type and final type of pages we want to discover through a mini content marketing audit is those pages that convert a great percentage of visitors into leads, or those articles that convert a great percentage of visitors into subscribers. You've got all kinds of content on your website, and you've got a subscription opportunity on your website. It might be a pop-up, it might be in the header, the footer. There's ways for your visitors to subscribe to your newsletter, one hopes, and there's articles on the site. And it's the quality of the article that really inspires the visitor to subscribe, adding themselves to your list, or to simply close the tab or hit the back button and move on. And again, if it's the 95-5 rule, there's probably 5% of your content that is doing 95% of the work at growing your list. Yet most marketers don't really know which of their pages are doing the best job at converting visitors into subscribers. It's not surprising. This is actually kind of difficult to figure out. But there is a report that will show you what people were reading right before they added themselves to your email list. What they were reading right before they converted and landed on your email, newsletter, thank you page. Subscribe, the conversion page. So that report is in the conversion section, and it's called the Reverse Goal Path Report. The Reverse Goal Path Report shows you what people were doing, what URL they were on before they converted, usually before they made it to the thank you page. So when you go to that report and you scroll down, or maybe filter it to just show your articles, you can see this many people were reading this article and then subscribed. This many people were reading this article and then subscribed. Some of these articles you're going to see have tons of people who subscribed after reading them compared to others. Many, even most, of your articles attract few or no new newsletter subscribers. The conversion rate from visitor into subscriber after reading that article might be extremely low, close to 0. So looking at the Reverse Goal Path Report shows you the total number of people who subscribed after reading each of your articles. But really what you want is that conversion rate. You're trying to find the percentage of people who subscribe to your newsletter after reading each article. In other words, the total number isn't the real percentage. Some of these pages may have many more visits than others. So to calculate the conversion rate in this mini audit, you need to look at the total number of people who subscribed from the reverse goal path report and divide that number by the unique page views for that page found from the All Pages report. This is kind of a manual process, and for years I did it manually, just putting all the data into a spreadsheet, matching it up, finding the pages, and dividing one number by the other. The total number of people who subscribed after reading an article divided by the total number of people who viewed that article, giving me the conversion rate, the percentage of people who subscribed to our newsletter after reading each article. Very useful. More recently, though, I found a way to do that using Google Sheets. There's a Google Sheets add-on for Google Analytics that can help you import this data into Google Sheets and do that calculation for you. Still kind of a hassle. I'm kind of a klutz myself with Excel and spreadsheets, but there are ways to do it that will save you the manual effort. Regardless, it's suffice to say for now that a good content marketing audit will help you discover what percentage of people subscribe to your newsletter after reading which of your articles, because you've got a few of them that are blockbusters. These are your great mousetraps. They attract a great percentage of visitors' email addresses because they're just better. They're just more inspiring. They align better with the needs of that visitor. They get the visitors more excited, and they tend to build more trust. Now that you know which of your pages are traffic champions, the great cheese, and which of your pages are conversion champions, the great mousetraps, one of the fastest ways to get better results in digital is to put the best cheese on the best mousetraps. Those aren't always the same page, of course. So when they aren't, you want to create good internal links, calls to action, related articles, links to guide people from your super popular traffic magnets over to your super compelling conversion magnets. So the idea is that you want to know which of your pages are powerful outliers at attracting people and which of your pages are powerful outliers at building trust and growing your list. That's an idea for a good content marketing audit, or at least an introduction to the concepts that you should be looking for, paying attention to that rule that a tiny percentage of your things that you've done over the years are getting the great percentage of the results, and to know which is which so that you can do better marketing going forward. In fact, once you do this, you have a sense for how to adjust your content strategy. What should we be doing more of? What should we do less of? What should we stop doing? What's not working? Sadly, a lot of marketers really don't know which of their tactics, which of their formats, which of their topics are driving the best results. Once you do know this, then you can iterate, improve, optimize, and double down or triple down on those actions that you take that are really driving the best results, and discontinue or pull back from those things that you're doing that are not really moving the needle. Again, this is Andy from Orbit Media. Hope you found this useful. We'll be talking more about how to get better results from your content marketing in the next episode. Until then, wishing you much traffic and many conversions.
We totally get it. We publish a ton of content on this podcast, and it can be a lot to keep up with. That's why we've started the B2B Growth Big Three, a no-fluff email that boils down our 3 biggest takeaways from an entire week of episodes. Sign up today at sweetfishmedia.com/big3. That's sweetfishmedia.com/big3.